Dave Sims, first of all, congratulations on winning the Elite League.
I did it all on my own, Rob. It was a tough ask, but I got there in the end. Nothing to do with us, all to do with the 20 guys downstairs and Paul and Danny and Darryl, and we were thrilled, absolutely thrilled, to do it 2 years running. Only ever been done in the Elite League era once before by Paul here. So for us to do it was a huge feat, and we're very proud of all other players. It was a great achievement.
I think I'm right in saying that you played a big part in convincing Paul Thompson to come to Sheffield. How big a coup was that, or how good was that for the organisation to be able to bring in Paul?
When you have the chance to sign the best, whether it's the best logistics guy, the best estate agent, the best hockey coach, the best shirt manufacturer, you try and do it. And there's nobody better than Paul. Paul proved that here. He then went on, and people, his team didn't do very well in Sweden, in Troja. I went across and I knew how much they all thought of him when I was over there. And he didn't do well because they were a bunch of kids. They were the Edinburgh Capitals, if you like, of the Allsvenskan. Then he goes to Aalborg, who've got a fine tradition. Well, they were an under-20s team with a couple of imports, and a couple of imports that weren't very good. So how we got them to the playoffs, they were thrilled within Denmark. So there was never a doubt. And I think when you're close to somebody and you know them, and you know how thorough they are, how prepared they are, how 24/7 they are, how diligent they are, then it's a no-brainer to recommend it to an owner. And think about it, when you go to recommend something like that to an owner, or the owner says to you, well, what do you think? Because he's your best mate, you've got to be 100% sure, because you don't want to sell a dud. And there was never a question. But fortunately, with the Ice Hockey UK work that Tony does, and also he manufactured the Coventry shirt, so he knew Paul, and he'd had experience dealing with Paul. So he was the guy that we needed. It wasn't just the coach of the Sheffield Steelers, who's the best X and O's guy. It was the best manager, the best general manager, somebody that could take all that pressure off. Tony, Sean, Oakley, me, whatever, so we could concentrate on all the other stuff. And that's what Paul's done. In the morning now, we speak with one another, all of us, but we never say, I wonder what's going on down the rink. We always know what's going down the rink. And we don't ask Paul what's going on down the ring, because if he thinks we're interfering, he'd go crazy at us. So it's a very happy camp, and people criticise Tony for letting Doug go very early. Firstly, Finna go after just 2 years, and then letting Doug go early, and then letting Jared go. But Tony knew what he wanted, and it wasn't just the coach, an X and O's coach. And he kept changing until he got the man that he wanted. He's got the man that he wanted, and we're all a very happy camp now.
Going back to what you just briefly said, that Paul Thompson is more than just a head coach, isn't he, at the Sheffield Steelers? He plays a lot of roles. Tell us more about that with the visionary side of things.
Well, yes and no. He does and he doesn't. In one sense, he has nothing to do with the sponsorship, the marketing, the ticketing, which is what he was doing here. And that's what ground him into the ground and almost destroyed him, was because he was all things to all people in this place, and everybody put on him. And I saw him almost, break down. So it was the best thing for him to do to go away. Where here, he runs the hockey side of the business. That's what he does best. So yes, things like this young Liam Kirk and Cole Schuger thing, he's the guy who's picked them. He's the guy who's looked at them at training for the last 3 months. He's the guy that has that vision. He's the guy that decides who we're going to sign, who we're not going to sign for next year. And the fortunate thing is he has a great relationship with the owner. And the most important relationship in any hockey club is that between the 50-50 sellers and the announcer. Is between the coach and the owner. And if the coach and the owner are on the same path, everybody else will fall into place. And right now, the coach and the owner get on very well. They're not yes men to each other. They all have their own ideas. But that combination, I think, has worked really well.
You spoke briefly there about the friendship between you and Paul. Ooh. And he's just walked in as we're talking. How has that friendship been? Has it been tested a little bit more because you're spending more time in each other's company? And I know you ring him 6 times a day. And
he's never off the phone to me asking for advice. I've spoken less about hockey with him than I have with Doug, Finna, Jared, because as we've just said in the other answers, you don't have to worry about it. Where with the others, you had to keep asking questions. But now you don't have to ask questions. He comes and tells you things when he's ready to, when it's done. And that's how it should be. We shouldn't get to know about signings in advance. We shouldn't know about all that stuff. In the same way as we don't go running to him when Mike signs a new sponsor or we sell another 500 tickets. That's nothing to do with him. That's their department. and therefore from that point, no, there's been no strains because he's just gone on and done the job so outstandingly well.
Changing subjects slightly, crowds across the Elite League are through the roof. They're going up all the time, and nowhere more so than Sheffield. You had just over 9,000, was it last week? What's the reason for that, Dave? You know the league better than anybody.
It's exciting. The product is great, pretty much across the board. 9/10 of the Elite League is a good product. So I think that helps. That's why you're selling out. It's why we're selling out. But I also think we go back to the questions you've just been asking. Because Paul is doing his job, it has allowed Tony to do his job, Sean to do his job, Oki to do his job, me to do my job, Ben to do his job, the girls to do their job. And therefore we've been able to encourage more. We've actually taken the Coventry model in terms of ticketing, and that was something that Paul brought along, and we do a lot of, in our promotion tickets. But we've been able to concentrate on that because we haven't had to worry about what's going on down at the arena. And I think, so whilst Paul hasn't physically sold a ticket, the product that he's put on the ice has certainly been a product we can sell if we can get people into the building. And then we've been able to now go and sell it to those people. So it all works hand in glove. And it's great to see everywhere. Cardiff instantly go from a 2,000 capacity to a 3,000 capacity. That's because the product is a good product right now. People don't mind paying 17, 18, 19 pounds to watch that product. The product that has been in years gone by hasn't been excited. And when you've got 9,000 seats, and if you can only sell 4.5 of them, there's no atmosphere. You've got to have a product that you can sell. And I know that was one of the remits, was yes, you've got to win, but if you can bring an exciting team to the arena, and our team is exciting. So that's why I think there's more people in Sheffield.
Finally this weekend, it's the playoff quarter-finals. Obviously plays against the Steelers. Tell us how you think it's going to go.
I think we're going to win, but I always think we're going to win whatever game we play, and it'll be tight. I bet you tomorrow night at 7:30, if there's a goal or 2 goals between either one of us, that's where it'll be. But obviously I hope it's going to be with us. But Coventry have had a bit of a hoodoo, haven't they, especially here. So tonight's going to be vitally important. But as I say, then we don't have to worry about that. That's his job to worry about that. We'll worry about putting bums on seats in there tomorrow. That's our job.